Hello, welcome to the Beard Out Podcast. Podcast where we talk about the two greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al Yankovic. My Aunt Lala and my dad are the hosts of the show. Thanks for listening to the Beard Out Podcast, part of the OddPods Media Network. Stay weird and enjoy the show.
Hey, it's Dalton.
And Sam.
We want to tell you about our podcast called Big 10 Plus 4.
Are you a college football fan who doesn't want to always be talking about the SEC?
Are you a college basketball fan who's tired of hearing how the Big 10 doesn't win in the big dance?
Then we're the show for you. Check us out each week on the OddPods Media Network. We bring you college sports with a Big 10 flavor.
Big 10 Plus 4. College sports with Midwest perspective. Blue collar and blue blood.
Okay.
Well, hey, how are you doing? Have a seat. Have a drink. Boy, I can glad to see ya. What can you say? Where's Lala?
Well, all right, folks. It's another very special episode of the Beard Owl Podcast. It's the podcast where we talk about two of the greatest things in the world: beer. Oh, that smells really good. Beer and Weird Al. And since this is a very special episode, my brother John is not here because he's not very special. And I have very special people on to talk about very special topics. And this is an interesting topic because it is, to quote myself, this is Weird Al adjacent. It is not right. It's good. It's good. It's good. Thank you very much. I'm proud of myself when I do that kind of thing. But anyway, my guest today has, oh gosh, you sent me something for, when I asked people almost 2 years ago to talk about what Weird Al meant to them, you sent me something and I was the worst about it. And then I ended up putting it in the middle of one of our bracket episodes. So that was kind of special. But David, how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited about this topic and I'm excited to be here on your podcast.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you too. So before we jump into stuff right here at the beginning, give the people that listen to my show a little bit of background on, who you are, what it is that you do out there in the world and podcast space and what have you. And yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I am a music composer. I compose music for films and commercials and TV and stuff like that, and take up most of my time, though, not doing that and instead podcasting. I have been hosting the Piecing It Together podcast for almost 5 years now, where we talk about movies through the lens of what other movies might have inspired them. And it's a fun, unique take on the movie podcast format. And I also produce a couple of other podcasts and generally make myself very busy all the time.
Yeah, you look busy. I see you on Twitter, and I'm like, gosh, this guy's busy, super busy.
He never stops.
No, and I mean, we do it to ourselves. As long as we're enjoying it, we might as well keep doing whatever it is that we do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, it's really interesting. The kind of thesis and theme behind your podcast is looking at movies and what might have inspired them. And I feel like that plays really well into the theme of what we're talking about here as far as Weird Al goes, because our topic du jour is non-Weird Al parody songs. And I know you brought a couple to the table. I have some things that I want to talk about. And I have a feeling we're going to kind of be bouncing back and forth between stuff that inspired Weird Al and stuff that was inspired by Weird Al. So I feel like, it comes together pretty nice.
Yeah, it's hard to parody a song and not be like, oh, I'm doing the Weird Al thing. It's just, he is, he's the end all of parodying music. And so how does that not come to mind for anybody writing a parody song?
For sure. He's absolutely king of it. And as I am legally obligated to do on the show, I just need to mention that I do have a beer here and I was very excited about it. The folks that listen to this show know that Lauren loves a dank IPA. And when I cracked this open, I smelled it and I was like, oh, this smells good. And so kind of in honor and homage to our topic here, since a lot of parody and novelty music, Weird Al included, has appeared and still does appear on the Dr. Demento show, I have a beer called Dr. Dank. And I'm like, yep, that works for me. And it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's from Wicked Weed Brewing. And I mean, I love Wicked Weed. They're one of the few breweries that I haven't been to, but I have a t-shirt of somehow. So
Nice.
anyhow, I figure we have no structure here today, folks. So if you're looking for like a real structured conversation, this is not for you. We're just going to kind of talk about parody music that exists out there in the world. So if you happen to be a fan of Weird Al, and want to branch out into other, areas of parody music, check out some of the stuff we're talking about. So David, I figure, let's roll with what you have to talk about and let's kind of see where our thoughts on this intersect. Because you said you had like 5.
Yeah, I've got 5, and they're not particularly in an order. I mean, kind of, but not exactly. And yeah, I guess I have 6 because of my honorable mention. But the first one I was going to bring up, and I will say, first of all, some of these are songs like released as songs. Some of them are from either movies or television or stuff like that. And the other thing is, just like with Weird Al, some of them are direct parodies of songs, and some of them are more like style parodies, which is something Weird Al does as well.
Yeah.
So my first one is a style parody and not specifically a song parody. It's "Love Take Me Down to the Streets" from the Role Models soundtrack, a style parody of Wings and Paul McCartney post Beatles music. Role Models, I mean, I don't know if you're a big fan of David Wayne, but I absolutely love all of his movies, and Role Models no different. It's so funny. And that song was created specifically for the movie, even though characters in the movie are claiming that it's their favorite Wings song. And Paul Rudd is constantly getting annoyed because he knows that it's not a real song, but everybody thinks it is. And then like completely unnecessary, but it just works so well over the end credits. There's "Love Take Me Down to the Streets," an actual song that sounds exactly like a Wings song. They even flew in a guy from a Beatles cover band to come in and sing the vocals, so it sounds just like McCartney.
That's wild.
It's ridiculous. And it's not being like a straight up like funny song parody thing. It doesn't have like specific funny lines to quote or anything like that. It's just kind of the audacity of it to make a song that just so perfectly sounds like that artist that characters in the movie can quote it and like kind of sing it. There's a scene where David Wayne's at like a campfire and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know that song," and starts to play it, and like it's just totally ridiculous. And it's a great track.
You know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know that I've heard it, but I have a feeling like I am literally like writing this down right now. I need to check that out because you make a really good point with that, is that like parody and, style parody or pastiche, right? It doesn't have to be funny.
Right.
Necessarily. Like what you're talking about here is it's used for humor, but the song itself isn't necessarily funny.
Exactly.
And when people think about what this kind of music does, they immediately go, they have to be poking fun or being silly or doing whatever. But no, like you can be straight up fairly serious and, do exactly the same thing, which, I mean, we can for sure keep talking about this, but like one of Weird Al's big influences was Stan Freberg. Right? And he did it's a cover of Heartbreak Hotel by Elvis. He changed nothing about the song lyrically or anything like that. But he did it as a novelty record, except he added a lot of echo, and then it's kind of just him joking around with the people recording it like, "No, that's too much echo," or like commenting on Elvis's dancing moves like, "Oh no, I just ripped my jeans," like over a solo and stuff like that. It came out in like 1956 or whatever, right? So like this is a very timely sort of thing that's happening, but it qualifies as a parody song because it's commenting on things that are happening around it. Much like what you're doing there is like, man, they got in a guy that sounds exactly like Paul McCartney.
Yeah. Yeah, ridiculous. And the song, the composition of it, the playing, the instruments, all of it just perfectly fits. And so then when a character is like, "No, that's not a song," it's like, "Well, it kind of is actually." It
Well, it
just
is
isn't really
now.
Wings. Yeah, it
It
is
just isn't.
now.
It is now. It just isn't really Wings. And it's like I was prepping for our talk today. I knew I wanted to talk about Stan Freberg's Heartbreak Hotel, and so I went to it on YouTube, and
Mhm.
this kind of falls in line with exactly what you're saying, because a bunch of the comments were like, "I thought this was the original version."
Right, right.
It's like it's also like, "I thought this was a Wings song," but
Yeah.
like, no, that's crazy.
You know what that reminds me of actually? Like, this isn't on my list or anything, but, the Blues Brothers would also
Mm-hmm.
kind of fall under that. It's like, it's just funny because they're doing it. It's not like specifically ha jokey songs or anything.
Right, right. It's like full stop. The Blues Brothers soundtrack is one of my favorite things to listen to,
Yeah,
and it's not funny music. It's
yeah.
straight up blues music, because Dan Aykroyd takes blues very seriously, and, the version of "She Caught the Katy" that is on the
Mm.
Blues Brothers soundtrack is just a solid, awesome, like, blues song that could stand up against some of the best of them. So, yeah, if anything else, I think the kernel of our thesis here today is that, you could be doing a parody, or, you could be trying to do a pastiche of something, but it doesn't have to be like funny music
Sure.
necessarily.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. I really do need to go check out that quote end quote Wings song, like, as
Yeah.
soon as we're done here, because I'm like, I gotta hear this. I love Wings. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You gotta check it out.
like, how did I not know that existed?
And watch Role Models again if you haven't seen it or haven't seen it in a long time.
I don't think I've seen it, and I love
Okay.
Paul Rudd,
Yeah, he's great. He's so
so
funny.
that's going on my list. Like, that is absolutely going on my list. So, what other parody tracks do you have going?
So I've got a few more on here, but first up, I do have a tie. I cheated a little bit because they're
Okay.
both from the same place. Actually, they're both from the sketch comedy show In Living Color. I have White White Baby with Jim Carrey parodying Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby, and Can't Touch This with Tommy Davidson parodying MC Hammer's Can't Touch This, which, by the way, is the only song on this list that Weird Al actually parodied himself.
Yeah,
So
can't watch this.
shout out to that. But they're both really, really like funny and perfect impressions, in Living Color being home to like so many impressions. Both have like really funny moments and like great lines in them. Jim Carrey as Vanilla Ice, let's kick it, and he kicks his shoe off, and then he spends like half the song trying to get his shoes tied.
It's great.
And yeah, just really ridiculous stuff, and being very Jim Carrey in the moment. And then Tommy Davidson, who's so underrated as far as like the funny people that were on In Living Color. He spends Can't Touch This basically getting stuck in his ridiculous baggy parachute pants.
Of
And
course.
yeah, it's so funny. I actually hadn't seen it in years, and I just watched it while preparing for this. And when he first gets stuck, and then in MC Hammer just Can't Touch This, the like it's that of him being like tripping over
Uh-oh.
himself, and
Uh-oh.
yeah, it's just so funny. And yeah, it's the two of them just like really just make the whole thing ridiculous. And those two songs are just so like, they go together so well, that very, particular moment in hip hop history. So they kind of had to go together on my list here.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, like, it's absolutely a moment in time, and I love that you brought one that was a song that Weird Al also did, but did differently.
Sure.
You know, because Weird Al, when he did his parody of "Can't Touch This," kind of fell back on his trope of "Let's talk about TV again,"
Yeah,
which,
sure.
that's great, but it's kind of meta in its own way that Weird Al is doing this parody of a song talking about watching TV. Well, there's a show on TV doing a parody of the same song, poking fun at the guy in his pants.
Yeah,
You know, so like there's layers there to it, absolutely. And I could very well see Weird Al going the direction of the pants.
sure. Yeah,
And that
it's like
feels
ripe
like a
for
choice.
parody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. But yeah, but Can't Watch This though is so funny. not to like go down a tangent of actually talking about a specific Weird Al song, but I was re-listening to that also for this podcast, and especially right now with like reality TV taking over everything, it's like that song. Uh, Talk about a song that's like prescient of like the future of like what's gonna happen. That song is about today's world of television. I feel like.
Yeah. Oh my God. I feel like Weird Al definitely, he predicts things in a weird sort of way.
He
You
sure
know,
does.
he can sense what's about to happen. And I love it. Like, yeah. And this is the kind of music, right? Whether it's Weird Al or not, like everything we've talked about up to this point, even is simultaneously like very in the moment and then
Mhm.
either a product of what came before or a projection on what could come
Sure.
later. And I feel like that is something that is almost unique to this this is very genre is very loose for this, because just because it's something doing a parody or like a satire or pastiche or whatever, musically they're all incredibly different, but like doing that is a product of this particular genre of music.
Sure.
I would argue, and I'm not going to argue very deeply on it, but I'm just going to make a very brief point
Sure.
that comedy music
We're
probably
not here to argue. We're not here to
no,
fight.
no,
Yeah.
we're not here to. Weird Al wouldn't want it that way.
No. No.
But comedy music almost is more intelligent in its social commentary than people that are trying to be intelligent in their social
Mm,
commentary
no.
in music,
Yeah.
right?
That makes sense. Yeah, because like you really have to be pretty smart to like form an actually funny song. It's really difficult. I mean, that really kind of, you know, puts the focus on Weird Al and that he's been able to do it for so many years and keep really knocking it out of the park, because it's really difficult to write a funny song. I know with my, I have this background before I really got into composing music for film. I was doing in college this like comedy rap stuff, which I don't really do
Yeah.
anymore, although I kind of do, but I don't. I certainly don't talk about it too much because it's very offensive, which is a product of the early 2000s. And, I have a very clean image now, but not really, but, uh, it's hard to like make funny stuff that like is funny and is kind of joking about the particular things that you're skewering, but is also listenable and like can be listened to as its own music and isn't just like a one note joke you put on one time. And that's, kind of all novelty music is a big part of the challenge of that.
For sure. Absolutely, for sure. And you know, I'm a big fan of all novelty music. I actually it's going to be coming out like way later than this, but for the Infectious Groove YouTube channel, I just shot a video about 5 novelty songs that I think people should check out.
Nice.
And so I've been kind of like bathing in non Weird Al novelty music for the past like 2 weeks to prepare
Nice.
for all of this stuff. And it's it's solidified for me why Weird Al is the one that has been able to do this for 40 plus years and nobody
Yeah.
else has. It's pretty much like exactly what you said. It is so hard to be
Yeah.
funny and intelligent and not offensive all at the same time. And he
Yeah.
manages to do it over and over and over and over again. And uh one thing I stumbled upon, kind of like re-stumbled upon because I saw it when it happened, was a college humor parody of the Nickelback masterpiece Photograph called
Oh, yeah.
Look at This Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's well done. It really is well done. I mean, they're talking about all of it came out in like 2012, so Instagram was still like relatively new at the time, and they're kind of poking at all of the things that people do when they're on Instagram. It's like, look at this cheese I ate. Doesn't it look so great? Or something like that, right?
Uh,
And like they're going through all the little tropes that people, did on Instagram at the time. It's like, oh yeah, like I did that. Like I definitely took a picture of my feet at the beach that one time. And like you're recognizing a lot of this, but then it does the thing that Weird Al would never do. It threw in an F-bomb for no reason.
Yeah.
And it didn't need to be there. They lost me with that. But I guarantee that there are people listening to it that was their first laugh.
Yeah.
You know, because comedy is such nuance. And I feel like I'm gonna sound pretentious here, and I almost don't care because it doesn't. I don't care, but you have to have a certain level of perception into what it is you're hearing to get what Weird Al does. You know, in order to take yourself past the it's the eat it guy phase into like, no, look how deep everything he does goes, and I feel like the people that think that Weird Al is just the eat it guy, and the Venn diagram of people that think that Weird Al is just the eat it guy, and the people that got their first laugh when they dropped the F-bomb in the look at this Instagram parody is a circle, you know?
Sure.
And because both sides are missing the nuance. And I just think nuance is super important in comedy music and in general.
Yeah.
So
Nuance is the thing that I was missing the most in our comedy rap, but it's out there for people who want to find it. So.
Well, I feel though like a lot of that comes with maturity in your art, right? I guarantee if you were to do comedy rap now, it would be different. You would have the nuance because you have the nuance. I feel like Weird Al is just a special unicorn that, you know, he skipped 2 grades in school. He was valedictorian of his class. You know, he did all this, that, and the other. He's just a special person that got nuance early and had the right influences to be what he is.
Absolutely. And that's another thing too, like most of that stuff that I did was done, you know, getting drunk with friends and just making silly songs. So of course, you know, it goes to the more I guess you could say base instincts or whatever, but and parodying those specific elements of you know, hardcore gangster rap. But I would actually also get hired to do comedy songs for various things. I did for some like novelty videos and like, you know, videos meant to go viral and things like that. And those, you know, you'd take a little extra time and you'd perfect things and, you know, make nice little rhymes with clever jokes and bits that didn't necessarily have to be as vulgar and awful, you know?
Yeah, I think things do need to be clever. So we're going to get back to the list that you have because we've got the time to do this, but
sure.
You have piqued my interest now with so I'm because I don't have any one in particular I wanted to talk about, but I literally put in my notes talk about TikTok. Because I feel like, and you know, TikTok and like other social media things, there are people out there who are just kind of really quick on the fly in relation to the amount of time and care that Weird Al put into doing his things, putting parody music out there. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I feel I feel like it's disrespecting what this art form actually is to try and do it quickly. So I liked what, you know, when you said like when you were hired to do something that was for a specific purpose, you know, had a goal it needed to achieve, you put the time into it. And I feel like a lot of people aren't doing that. They're just kind of doing parody for parody's sake to get a cheap laugh. And parody is not and should never be a cheap laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I'm actually I've been working for years on this collection of songs. It's more like kind of rock, folk, pop punkish a little bit, like various different versions of rock and kind of style parodies in a way, but all songs about and in some cases sung by my pets. So it's all animal songs, and they're very ridiculous, very silly. But yeah, I mean, I've been working for years perfecting it, you know, and I've actually lost a couple of my pets along the way who are singing on the album, but it will be a posthumous release for them. You know, yeah, I know it makes it extra sad, especially because one of the songs is called "You Can Find More Socks, But You'll Never Find Another Me," and it's by my dog Sadie. I know. So that makes that song really hit hard. Let me just tell you when I hear it.
And but
So
that's you're yes, you're hammering in the point though. Like just because something is novel as far as music goes, something just because it's novelty music doesn't mean it shouldn't get all of the gears in your brain going. You
yeah,
can and should have the ability to cry at a novelty song. Like it should be able to
yes,
pluck your heartstrings in a slightly different way,
yeah,
you know, but there are way more layers than than a lot of people give this kind of thing credit
yeah,
for sure. I want you to be
absolutely.
able to get to the rest of the items on your list though. So what else do
Sure.
you have?
So next up, this one is kind of a small one, but it's from one of my favorite shows ever, The Critic, with John
Yes.
Lovitz. So
Yes.
funny. And from the pilot episode, I'm pretty sure it was on the pilot episode. I haven't rewatched the series in a while, but Beauty and King Dork, a parody of Beauty and the Beast, where
It's
Jay
great.
Sherman, John Lovitz's Ebert-like film critic, is uh, slow dancing with his love interest, and it kind of turns into a whole dream sequence and turns into kind of a parody of Beauty and the Beast because he's a beast. He's just
Yes.
this,
So great.
you know, nebbishy little dude, and he is King Dork, and it's got the great line, "She's Mindy to his Mork." Beauty and King Dork. It's it's a great song, and it ends with him kind of coming out of it and mumbling "Beauty and King Dork," and she's like, "What did you say?" And he's like, "Oh, I was talking about how useful sporks are." Which is a great line. So yeah, it's just it's a great song and a great moment. And my wife and I actually almost were going to use it for our wedding dance. That's how much we
That's
love that.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And actually, like, first of all, The Critic is one of the best shows. You would can you can you stream The Critic anywhere?
You know what? I don't think you can. There's a DVD set available, which I have, but I don't think it's on streaming.
Okay, this makes me mad.
Yeah.
Because I have all the things and I haven't thought to look for The Critic in a while, but I love that it was a Beauty and the Beast thing. I actually remember that. I loved watching The Critic. And when on full disclosure, when The Critic was on, like I was old enough to get some of it because I
Sure.
appreciated nuance, but there were some stuff where it's like, if you're not like an actual adult out in the world, you're gonna miss a lot of things in The
Oh
Critic.
yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
missed a lot of things, but I still remember thinking like, I don't 100% get that, but I bet it's great. Like I
Yeah.
remember my brain
Sure.
doing that.
Yeah, it was always like one step above The Simpsons, kind of like
Uh-huh.
in terms of what you needed to know in order to get stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And like there's so much Disney that lends itself to parody, just like Beauty and King Dork.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you see the trope that happens a lot online where people will try and do parody lyrics to Gaston,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
And it's so funny that you mentioned a Beauty and the Beast parody just now because seriously, not an hour before you and I sat down for this, my brother and I were talking about something else and Beauty and the Beast kind of came up and my my brother messaged me and he goes, and I quote, "No one hits like Gaston, no one shits like Gaston." And then I was like, okay, fine. And then so I said, "No one makes succulent fried shrimp and grits like Gaston." You know? And so like
Nice.
it's a formula that you can fill things in with. And so see, John not even being on this episode made an appearance with his
Yeah.
crude parody of Gaston with me bringing the final brilliant line onto it. And he doesn't listen to the episodes that he's not on, so he'll never know I threw him under the bus.
He'll never know.
He'll never know.
Ah.
Oh no, the critic is so great. Did they do a lot of stuff like that on the critic? I don't remember. Like music.
I feel like they did. It's been a while since I rewatched it. I mean, obviously they parodied a lot of scenes from movies. Like that was a big thing all
Yeah.
the time. But I'm pretty sure they did at least a few more like musical parody moments too.
So I mean, because I'm going to walk out on a limb and say that John Lovitz is not a bad singer. Like he doesn't have a bad voice, and I feel like they needed to. I'm glad they used it for that.
Yeah.
God, that show was so good. And I'm not gonna go completely off on a critic thing, but I love the animation style of it too, with how you can see the anxiety in the animation.
Oh, sure.
So great. Like I even got that as a kid. I was like, they look nervous all the time. I get it. I understand.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I'm due for a rewatch, really, to be honest. I'm gonna have to watch it soon.
all right. So to the thousands, no, I'm kidding, to the dozens of people that will be listening to this episode.
Mhm.
If you know if the critic is streaming anywhere, please let me know. And if you happen to be a person out there with the power to put the critic on somewhere streaming, do it, please, and thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll use my bully pulpit for good.
Yes, that's what you gotta do.
Okay. What else? What else do you have as far as non-Weird Al parody goes?
My next one kind of leans into what you were talking about with TikTok, although it I think is kind of like the best example of a modern, like somebody just coming up with something, someone who's not like a big, famous comedy artist or something like that, coming up with something and throwing it online on YouTube. It's from 2014. It's called "This Is a Trent Reznor Song" by a guy named Freddie Scott. Have you heard this?
I have. I
It's
have.
really funny. It's basically a more of a style parody of just Nine Inch Nails in general, although
Yeah.
it takes a lot of cues from Copy of and The Hand That Feeds. Those would be like the two songs it's most kind of skewering. But
Mm-hmm.
it's one of these songs, a lot like Weird Al, where it's as much celebrating the thing that it's kind of poking fun of, as it's poking fun at it.
Yes.
And it had a music video that was also inspired by some of his other videos, like Closer and stuff like that. And it just captures so perfectly all of these elements from his recent music, because Trent Reznor is amazing, one of my biggest
Mm-hmm.
influences as a musician. But he does tend to lean on certain ideas and
Oh, for
cliches,
sure.
and they all come up in this song. And he I wrote down this line. It's right at the beginning. He says, "I'm Trent Reznor. This is how I write songs. Make all my verses sound like this. Then I
Uh-huh.
throw in some random percussion so that you can dance to it." It just sounds like the way that he would write a song, and then the percussion comes in, which does happen in like every one of his recent songs, it feels like. And then yeah, just more of the same kind of elements. The weird guitar solo comes in, and the guy yells "weird guitar," and like all the weird synth comes in, and then of course it ends with a creepy piano, and he says,
Of
"End the song
course.
with a creepy piano," and yeah, it celebrates all the things that make a lot of his like last like 3-4 albums of Nine Inch Nails music, and just does such a great job of copying all those elements and kind of poking fun at them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I like a novelty song that's basically like a recipe to make the thing
Sure.
that um that it's poking fun at. Weird Al definitely did that with Perform This Way, his Lady Gaga parody.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
I just perform this way, like, I could wear this or wear a dress with raw meat, like, I'm not crazy. I just perform this way. Um yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the kind of like quote, like, not big name like parody things that you can kind of like stumble upon on the internet, just people kind of doing their funny thing. Um
Yeah.
because one time, without any context whatsoever, my brother sent me a link to a YouTube video. And like normally, don't you feel like if you're gonna send a link to a YouTube video that you want somebody to watch, you give them a little context, like, "Hey, this was funny. It made me think of you," or something like that. Nope, I just got an HTTP like YouTube.com.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a
So I'm
hidden link.
like, okay, I click it, and it is I couldn't even tell you what the original song is. Flow Rider, My House.
Okay.
Welcome to my house. Blah, blah, blah,
Hmm.
right? Well, there's a young man. Well, there's a young man by the name of Sven Johnson who did a YouTube video that was a parody of My House by Flo Rida. And the thesis of this video is, welcome to my house. There's not any chairs here. And so the whole song goes, welcome to my house. We don't got no chairs here, so you cannot sit down because we do not have any chairs. And the whole video is like, you got this house, everything else is there, but nothing. And he's like, there's a bit in it where it's like, my grandma came over and she wanted to sit down. And I'm like, sorry, grandma, we don't have any chairs because we don't have any chairs. It's one of those things where it is the exception that makes the rule about nuance for me in this kind of music, because this is just 100% silly dumb.
Yeah.
And somehow, sometimes, I don't know what the formula for it is. There's that silly dumb thing that just pokes you in the right way that you're like, that's brilliant, and I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly. That song, like that particular parody, it kind of reminds me of, like, I don't have anything on this list that is this, but I feel like there's been a lot of commercials over the years that would be parodies. And I don't have any that I can like call to, but there's got to be like a Geico commercial or like a Chili's commercial or something that straight up was a parody of like a popular song.
I can name you two right now.
Okay.
There's a drug called Ozempic that goes, oh, 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 Ozempic,
There you go. Perfect.
And that I believe it was Applebee's. They had bowls of like, they every once in a while, every like casual dining chain does some kind of a bowl thing.
Sure.
And it was, they're simply irresistible.
There you go. That's terrible.
It's so bad.
That's so bad. Oh my God.
And I heard, we were in the car the other day and Simply Irresistible came on. And I was like, you're simply irresistible. And I was like, I think it's Applebee's.
I kind of want a bowl now, though.
Right, though?
Yeah. Wow, that worked.
So, yeah. And like, I don't know where that stands nowhere on, like, if we have like a scale of nuance, like, let's trademark that right now. Like, the scale of nuance, that stands nowhere on it, because Jingles parody all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they're doing it to sell something. So they do have an end goal. But I don't know. It's not to make
there's
you
no such thing
think.
as selling out anymore. In the modern music business, it's,
Oh no, I mean, it's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. Like, if Weird Al decided he wanted to sell one of his songs to something, as long as it fit and made sense, I would be like, all right, more power to you. Go make your money, know? But, oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, Ozempic. I can't hear It's Magic without going, Ozempic, which is bad.
Amazing. Terrible. Terrible. Well, the food bowl one is actually a good setup for my final pick, and probably my favorite non-Weird Al parody, and the reason why I kept it for last here. It's kind of a deep cut because I don't know that a lot of people have heard this. But I found a CD single of it at a store while I was on vacation in LA back in 1997. I must have been 16, which at the time, I mean, come on, 16-year-old me, Weird Al is like my favorite. So of course I love the idea of a parody song. But I was also heavily into rap at the time. And it's a parody of West Side Connection's Bow Down called Chow Down by Waistline Connection. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And like that song, I don't know how much you remember Bow Down by West Side Connection, but it's one of the most hardcore gangster rap songs of all time. And it was Ice Cube, Dub C, and Mac 10, and just straight up hardcore West Coast gangster rap. And they're just so ridiculous. And I wrote down a couple lines from the song.
Yes, please share that.
I'm putting weight on. I'm the seafood don, eating fish out the fish ponds. That line is freaking ridiculous. Fools hold their breath because I'm willing and I'm able to eat up everything at the buffet table. That's absolutely ridiculous. This was kind of before Weird Al had ever really parodied any rap songs. I think maybe What Can't Watch This might have been out at that point.
Can't watch this. What? No, he did Amish Paradise in '96.
90, so it was the same year as that. So
Yeah.
we didn't have like, White
a
and
lot.
Nerdy.
We didn't have White and
We didn't
Nerdy,
have
Pentiums. None, yeah.
Sure, all that stuff that had come since then. So back then there wasn't a lot of parodying of hardcore gangster rap, and I feel like people probably were scared to parody hardcore gangster rap.
Yeah.
But these guys did it, and I guess I didn't like I said, this was like this weird CD single that I found. In looking this up, I found out it was this DJ Big Boy from Power 106 FM in LA, which is a huge station at the time, and I was from the East Coast. I didn't know anything about the station or the DJ. But yeah, this song, I hope anyone listening to this goes and checks it out, because it's so funny and so well done, and it's just hilarious.
That's awesome. And you bring up a good point. I'm gonna have to find that again. I'm gonna have
It's
to find
on
that to listen
YouTube.
to. Great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to listen to that too. But yeah, I was hoping that you would kind of end up steering us into the radio DJ direction, because that's a thing that a lot of radio DJs do or did.
Yeah.
Because I did not grow up in a major metro area. I grew up in beautiful Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Oh, I was in Stroudsburg.
There
in the
you
Poconos.
There you go. You were in the Poconos. I was in the
Yeah.
Wyoming Valley.
That's
And
crazy. Yeah.
I know, it's nuts. Small world.
Yeah.
So we had 98.5 KRZ, and the drive time DJ there, Jumpin' Jeff Walker, would put out parody music every once in a while, and it was all like hyper local stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom, for some reason, bought one of the Jumpin' Jeff Walker parody music CDs, because she was like, "Oh, the kids like Weird Al. Let's get some Jumpin' Jeff Walker." And we're like, I knew as a kid that this wasn't anywhere near as funny as what I was listening to, or anywhere near as well done. But one thing that sticks out in my mind is little backstory for this whole thing is Pittston, Pennsylvania. Are you familiar with Pittston? Having grown up in
I
Stroudsburg?
don't remember that one.
Pittston was a bit of a mafia hub.
Okay.
Okay. They to this day still have a tomato festival every year, in honor of the Italians and the tomatoes. And are you familiar with the Christmas song Dominic the Donkey?
No.
Oh, it goes jiggity jig, ee-aw, ee-aw. It's Dominic the Donkey, jiggity jig, ee-aw, ee-aw. The Italian Christmas donkey, la la la. It's one of my favorite Christmas songs. It's like it's a novelty Christmas song, and it's one of my favorite. That and I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. Don't come at me about either one of those songs. They're my favorites.
Amazing.
Well, Jumpin' Jeff Walker did a parody of Dominic the Donkey about Dominic from Pittston and all of his weird Italian mafia leanings.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like that would not get play outside of the area for sure. But it definitely got noticed in the area. And so I don't know what I guess I like a novelty song that has slightly more mass appeal, but then I'm also the kind of person that appreciates the Barnes and Barnes novelty song Fish Heads, which
Yeah.
you got to be a special kind of person to find that funny.
Yeah.
And if you find Fish Heads funny, then you're my kind of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to Wilkes-Barre, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure my first concert ever was Weird Al. And
At the Kirby?
I think it was in Wilkes-Barre. I think we drove from Stroudsburg, and that would have been off the deep end era.
100%.
That tour was.
Yeah. 92, 93.
Yeah, sounds about right. 92, 93.
Yeah, he was definitely there at the FM Kirby Center, which is where I saw him most recently as of the release of this. I flew up from Florida to Pennsylvania to go see Weird Al at the FM Kirby Center with my family. So we have seen Weird Al at the same venue.
That's ridiculous. That's
just
crazy.
30 years apart, but at the same venue.
That is wild. Absolutely.
You gotta love it though. I feel like the Weird Al of it all makes the world even smaller than we already think it is.
Hmm.
Because the Weird Al connections are just insane.
Yeah.
And it really makes me happy. And I feel like I'm also noticing that for some reason in this episode, I keep saying I feel like, which is not one of my usual vocal tics. And so I don't know
Mm.
why I keep doing that. So that's interesting.
Hmm.
Huh. Do you
I
ever
feel like that's
notice?
a pretty good one.
See, well done. I'm not going to cut any of them because that joke landed.
Yeah.
So
Mine is absolutely, by the way. I say absolutely a lot of my podcasts. So,
it's totally fair. It's totally
yeah.
fair.
You got to have something.
You do have to have something, but the quote I feel like is not normal for me unless, okay, loyal listeners of the podcast, is it? And I just noticed it right in this moment.
Right into the show.
Let me know. Actually, also, this is a good time for me to say I would love for anybody listening to this right now to either leave a comment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or anywhere that you're listening to this with some of your favorite non-Weird Al parody or style parody, pastiche, novelty music, and let me know. I'll keep track of the people that give stuff in. I've got stickers to give away, so if you want a Weird Al sticker, this might be your chance. I'm gonna keep track of who sends stuff in, and I don't have like an infinite amount of stickers, so I don't want to say that everybody that submits something is going to get a sticker, but if the number is reasonable and if you're kind of early doing it, you'll probably get a sticker. So if you want a sticker, start conversating with me about your favorite novelty songs and your parody songs that aren't Weird Al, because we know all about Weird Al here. So share that stuff.
Write in, people.
Write in. Send me a postcard. I want some Al mail. So did we cover all of the non-Weird Al parody songs you wanted to hit?
That is my list. Absolutely. We got to them all. And I think we got to a pretty, well-rounded list here, I think, of some really good stuff.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I'm going to slap one just funny one on at the end since I did end up mentioning a Christmas song. I love Bob Rivers' The 12 Pains of Christmas.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Rigging up the lights, hangovers. Right? Oh
Yeah.
my God. It's the 12 days of Christmas with all the stuff that bothers you around Christmas, and it just
Sure.
gets more and more unraveled as the song goes on. I think it's absolutely brilliant because it captured it was from like 1987,
Mhm.
and it kind of captured what like Reagan era capitalism Christmas kind of had to have felt like, because it's all about, stuff and rigging up the lights and like untangling things and like, and
Yeah.
the stress on this poor man and this song to make Christmas perfect. It's a delight. It
That's
should make
great.
every Christmas playlist. That and The Night Santa Went
Definitely.
Crazy and Christmas at Ground Zero by Weird Al Yankovic.
Absolutely. That's a great list right there.
So that's all you need. That and Dominic the Donkey and I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas on loop.
Yes.
That's so funny. So David, again, I know you said it at the beginning, but at the end, plug your stuff. I like to let people bookend things with their.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you again for having me. And
Yeah.
people can find Piecing It Together on all the major podcast apps. Follow me at Piecing Pod, where I'm the most active. Check me out on there and chat with me and all that. And you can check out my music, my real music, at bydavidrosen.com. My name, David Rosen. You can find me on all of the streaming services. And if you're brave enough to want to check out the comedy stuff, it's polarbears.net, polar bears with a Z. You can get a whole oral history of all of that. And the 5, 6, I don't know, I lost count, comedy rap groups that I used to be a part of.
That's awesome. I love people that try, and do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I write parody lyrics in my head and I'll tell them to people. I've never taken that one step further. So I appreciate that you have, because you're fighting the good fight for this kind of music. So
Absolutely.
So thank you again, David, for being here. This was wonderful. And
Absolutely.
All right, loyal listeners of the Beard Owl podcast, this is our closing theme song. We're going to boogie out to that until Cecilia tells us that she's got to run. And we'll come at you again next time, people. And oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't even know what you're going to hear next week, but I guarantee it's going to be great. Oh no, I do know, but I'm not going to tell you other than the fact that it's the 25th anniversary of the Weird Al Show.
Sorry, we got a one. We got a pencil again.